You know what's cool? Babes, hot rods, A-10 warthogs, attack helicopters, Kurt Russell, the word scramjet, war films like Saving Private Ryan, and the Giga Chad riding maneuver called Foreshadowing. Hey, wait guys, come back, sit down. Jeez. Foreshadowing in the simplest of terms is the indication of something that will happen in the future, or as writers like to call it, I know something you don't know. It's a plot device that is so epic because it can build suspense, spark curiosity, and or prepare your viewer for that aha moment, making them feel even smarter than they already are. But you beautiful bastards already knew all that, didn't you? Now there is a thin line between telegraphing what's going to happen in the plot and foreshadowing. A lot of modern writers tend to be habitual line steppers in this regard.
I trust no one. Assume everyone will betray you and you will never be disappointed.
Oh, he betrays him in the end? Shocking. Like a submarine piloted by a $40 gaming controller. Good foreshadowing is usually buried deep in the ocean called butt sex, because you can't spell butt sex without subtext. It can be subtle, like the oranges in Godfather signifying death. Or as obvious, like a character taking the high ground for once and getting lit up.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
So what does this all have to do with Private Ryan? How is there any kind of foreshadowing in this film? Yeah, sure, they won the war. We knew that. But the last time I watched Private Ryan, something kind of clicked. Their deaths were foreshadowed. I felt like I was taking crazy pills. I've seen this movie 100 times. How did I not catch this? Then I went to the one place everyone goes to confirm their bias. A little place I like to call the internet. And sure as shit, I'm not the only one who noticed this crap. So now my mind is completely blown on the 101st time I've watched this film. So allow me to blow your mind. So let's dive into each death and see if I'm making all of this up. Because they didn't even see it coming. But you will. The first one to catch the big sleep is Private Caparzo, played by Vin Diesel. Now you might be thinking to yourself, dude, he was Italian. He was clearly the smartest and strongest of the squad. He had to go. He was too overpowered. And I understand that kind of line of thinking. It only makes sense. But after they storm the beaches of Normandy and the squad is all compiled together to go get Private Ryan behind enemy lines, they pick up that little pussy Umpum. And Umpum, trying to write a book, is interviewing the guys as he tags along. At one point, Umpum talks to Caparzo. Caparzo isn't really interested in his bullshit book, but he is interested in not dying. He tells Umpum to stop saluting Captain Miller, played by Tom Hanks, especially when he's standing next to him, because saluting Captain Miller makes him an easy target for snipers. Later on, in a bombed out French village, Caparzo tries to do the decent thing and save a girl from the war that's happening around her. Now, Captain Miller had a particular response to this.
We're not here to do the decent thing, we're here to follow fucking orders!
Now, if you're watching this from far away, you can clearly tell that there's a chain of command here, and Caparzo is answering to Captain Miller. After Miller yanks the little girl from Caparzo's arm, that's when Caparzo gets quickscoped. And where was Caparzo standing? Right next to Captain Miller. Who is he killed by? A sniper. If only Caparzo listened to himself and not stood next to his captain, he'd still probably be alive today. Well, maybe not. He'd be like 130.
It's to my dad. It's got blood on it.
Next up is Medic Wade, played by Giovanni Ribisi. Now there's extensive shots of Wade landing on the beaches of Normandy with everybody else. Not only is Wade a bullet magnet, but he's always standing out in the open. He's not the sharpest hammer in the knife box. I mean, this guy is trying to catch more lead than a Chinese paint job. At one point, he yells at machine gunners out in the open. And during Caparzo's death, Wade stands out in the middle of the street like he's trying to hail a damn taxi cab, only to be pulled back by Paul Giamatti's character.
Damn it, stay down! What's the matter with you? I'm gonna take care of you if you get hit!
Later on, they have a side quest mission of rushing a machine gun nest, and this is where we bust a side note mish. Captain Miller is such a fucking idiot for not paying attention to his own rules. In the beginning of the movie, when he tells Caparzo that they're not here to do the decent thing, they're here to follow fucking orders. When they come up to this machine gun nest, what does Captain Miller do? That exact thing that got Caparzo killed. So let's get this straight. Captain Miller's smooth-brain plan is to rush an elevated machine gun nest with 5 or 6 guys and a handful of grenades. He's justifying all of this by the fact that some other platoon is going to come by and get ambushed by this entrenched machine gun nest. This is a classic case of a character breaking his own rule and dying because of it. It's a cardinal sin in the case of characters, but that's another video for another time. Anyways, they're doing the decent thing by rushing this machine gun nest that is protecting a radio tower that has no mission significance whatsoever. And once again, if you look very closely, as we watch this grenade fight go down through Jackson's sniper scope, you can clearly see Wade is out in the open. Not only that, there's nobody around him to pull him out of the machine gun fire. Now, if you remember back in the French Village, when Paul Giamatti's character pulls him out of the line of fire, he asks,
I'm gonna take care of you if you get hit.
now this is significant because when Wade gets shot by the machine gunner, his squad is trying to figure out how to take care of him.
Tell us what to do. Tell us how to fix you.
What do you mean? What can we do, Wade? Tell us what to do.
Now next up is everybody's favorite, the god tier Private Snipey Jackson, played by Barry Pepper. This guy can't miss, especially when he has the low ground for some reason. He takes out an entire machine gun nest from a hole in the beach.
Hasty to help me.
When Caparzo gets hit, the most obvious place to Jackson is the bell tower. He once again takes the low ground, aims into the bell tower, and blows his brains out by putting a well-placed round through the scope. So then we fast forward to the bridge battle at the end of the movie, and where's Jackson placed? In a bell tower. You know, the obvious spot. This is the first time we actually see Jackson miss his shots, and for being in an obvious position, he catches a tank shell with his teeth. If only he found a hole in the ground somewhere, he could have probably saved everyone that day. Mellish, played by Adam Goldberg, is the next one to take the room temperature challenge. Now you see, Mellish is the one who got his bayonet taken away from him on the beach by Captain Miller in order to stick a mirror on it to get a peeky peek around the corner. The bayonet is passed around more than a French whore, and it's never given back to Mellish. Later on, when all the fighting has subsided and the beachhead has been taken, Caparzo finds a Hitler Youth knife and gives it to Mellish.
Hey, Fish.
Yeah.
Look at this, a Hitler Youth knife.
And now it's a Shabbat holocaust, all right?
Mellish boo-hoos over it for a little bit, and that was pretty much that. But later on, when his machine gun position runs out of ammo, and they're forced to defend themselves playing hot grenade, Mellish is attacked by the very same soldier that killed Wade at the machine gun nest. They have a little bit of CQC. In the attempt to save his own life, Mellish pulls out the Hitler Youth knife, only for the Betty Boop German to overpower him and sink the knife into his heart.
Stop! Stop! No.
Next up, being put through the meat grinder is Sergeant Mike Horvath, played by Tom Sizemore. When we were first introduced to Horvath on the beach of Normandy, he's told by Captain Miller to move his men up the beach. Sergeant Horvath tells everyone to stay close to him by yelling out this command.
Hey, you guys! Get out my ass!
Later in the small French village, he wears him like a pair of underwear, keeping him real close. Like on his ass close.
Upham! You stay with Sergeant Horvath.
Stay right here! I'll wear my underwear, Captain!
When the Battle of the Bridge goes down, Sergeant Horvath is alone. And for his butt being exposed, it takes a bullet right up it. Later on during the battle, when they're about to blow the bridge, he tells Captain Miller to go on without him because he has a second asshole slowing him down. He fires a bazooka at a tank, and as he was retreating back to everybody else, he's shot in the back. And as everyone continues to provide cover, he dies behind sandbags with no one else around him. R.I.P. Sergeant Horvath and your lonely butt meat.
Mike, are you all right?
I just got the wind knocked out of me.
Get out of here!
Okay, this one's going to be a little Trixie McFlipsy, and you math nerds are going to love this because it uses a little bit of addition while subtracting. Captain Miller.
We're not here to do the decent thing. We're here to follow fucking orders.
In the middle of the film, there is a moment where everybody takes shelter inside a church. He mentions there that he's gotten 94 men under his command killed.
Do you know how many men I've lost under my command?
How many?
94.
But he justifies this by saying that he balances that out with how many other people's lives he's saved with those men lost. That includes Caparzo from earlier that day. Later, Captain Miller loses 4 other men, and that brings the total tally to 98. 98 seems like a pretty high number, by the way. Are we sure Captain Miller is a good captain?
Yes, sir. That was one hell of a call coming to take this nest, but the hell, we only lost one of our guys going for it.
Captain Miller, while attempting to get the plungers that would detonate the entire bridge, sacrifices himself for one man. He's dropped by the Betty Boop German. And Betty Boop's weapon of choice, the Car 98. Now you could sit there and naysay all you want, but it's true, it's all in there. So while your eyes gaze at one of the millions of TVs that is playing Saving Private Ryan on Memorial Day, think about this little video and fact check my work. See if I got it right. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, but I do know this. I have a fresh new angle to look at Private Ryan with, and maybe now you do as well. If you enjoyed this video, you go ahead and smash that like button. While you're done doing that, hit the subscribe button. And then after that, share this with your friends, family, people you hate. Maybe you don't like my content and just want to waste somebody's time. Do it, share it. Thank you. It is much appreciated. I'm out of here.